Okay, this week I'm going to cover all kinds of different text effects. And all these text effects you can do with a variety of well, not just necessarily on text, but you can do them on objects and things. So all the different techniques that we show this week you can do with plain objects and things like that. In the book, there's several different pages you can look at. Each one talks about different skills. The first one I'm going to actually start at the bottom here and work kind of up. The clipping path is a way that you can combine make a mask so that you can show only what's inside the mask and make everything outside the mask blank. So we'll learn how to do that. Probably one of the first things today. So on the website there is a font DA link or DA font link here. It's probably my favorite website to download some fonts. I don't remember if I had a lesson on how to download and install fonts, but if we click on that, it'll take us to our font DA. I think we did have one early in the semester. And on this website, the DA font, you can find, again, a variety of different types of fonts. You got these wonderful medieval, Celtic here, and things like that. And some of them are free, some of them they want you to pay for, or some of them they just have like demo. If you just look at the license agreement, you know, it might say free, it might say demo, shareware. It just depends. Mostly, you know, it's like free for personal use, but if you're going to use it for, you know, like a newsletter that you're going to print and stuff like that, they want you to donate or something like that. So a lot of these are free, and a lot of them are it's easy to you know, surf through this website. It's kind of a simple website. As you go through and looking at the different options that you see here, you could just go over there and click on the download. Oh, this one looks funner. Click on download, and most likely it will download wherever you have your downloads. I have a downloads folder, I believe, on my computer somewhere. If I could find it. I have to go through, and once you've downloaded it, and of course I finally found it in my downloads folder, it's usually a compressed file. Usually what they give you is a zip file. So usually if you just uncompress it, extract it, it'll give you a folder. Oh, this is an open type. As you can see here, this is an open type. As an OTF, I believe we talked about the different type fonts. So since I'm using a Windows computer, the key is that you need to put it in the right spot. If you're using a Mac, you would put it into the there's a font book program. Just drag it into there. On this old Windows computer, which I'm using XP, there should be a font folder on here somewhere. There it is, fonts. And usually if you just find the font you want, you could just drag it into the font folder and it should be available to the program. Sometimes you need to close the program and open it before you could use it. So if I had, like, let's say Illustrator open right now, and I closed it, and it might not necessarily be that way, but I kind of do it anyways just to make sure, and then open it up inside of open Illustrator again. That font that I just downloaded should be available in my type folder. What was it called? It was called, let's go back to the website and see. The Creator Campo type. Creator Campo type. So if we go and look inside of Illustrator, maybe it'll be there, hopefully. I got a cactus one. I see that. Oh, here it is. I think that's it. Maybe it's down further. So I've downloaded lots of fonts and things like that. Here it is. So it does show up in my list of fonts I want to use. So surf and download and get yourself a collection of fonts that you could use for all kinds of variety of different reasons. And this week, again, we're just going to talk briefly about all kinds of different font techniques. The first one I'm going to show today would be like the clipping mask. Basically, you might have tried this already. I think I've seen some of you where you've actually taken a pattern and put it inside the letters. But today we're going to take and I'm going to type in some big bold text, and I'm going to get a picture of some trees, and I'm going to put the word trees inside there. But before I do that, one of the things I want to do with this example is actually have an outline that goes around it. One of the problems is if you're using the clipping mask or clipping technique that's on page 344 in the book, once you tell an object, like this, in this case, this text right here, to be a clip, you won't be able to outline it or do things like that. Well, maybe in the appearance window we could do that later. So a lot of these techniques I show, there is no exact right or wrong way of doing anything. There's there's just different ways of doing things. So don't think that oh, you have to do it exactly this way. You just need to find out which way is the best way for you, and I can just show you a few of them. One of the things that at the beginning of the book talks about is something called Adobe Bridge, and I haven't looked at Adobe Bridge, but if I go under File, I can say Browse and Bridge. And what Bridge does is it's just basically a program that kind of goes through and looks at different graphics. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and import a picture from Bridge, or actually I'm going to just click on it here and drag it into my Illustrator. One of the things you want to avoid doing is you can, right click on a well, if you double click on it, it'll probably open in Photoshop. But you can, inside of Illustrator, say File, Open, and actually open a bitmap image like this, tree picture or something like that. One of the things you want to try and do is avoid doing that. For some reason, if you open up a bitmap first inside of Illustrator, you won't be able to get to some tools and features that I found in the past. So the best way to, if you're going to use a bitmap image, in this case like a picture of a tree here, is to start with a blank document first, then go and either place it like we did with the picture before, where we go under File, Place, or another technique is the one I'm going to show right now, where you can actually go into Bridge and then just drag. I'm going to drag this tree picture right here from the Bridge right into Illustrator, release my mouse, and it would be just like I went under File, Place. So you can actually drag and drop from something like a Bridge here and drag it right into Illustrator. Let me reorganize my layers. As you notice, the text is below, and what I want to do is this technique that they have on page 344 in the book, where you take a image. In this case, I'm going to use the letters, the trees letters here, and you get the image to show up inside of the letters. Okay, so we're going to do that by using the clipping mask. Now, in the book, they talk about using a group. We only have one picture in here, but if you had more than one object that you wanted to clip, there's a way of doing it in the diagram there. What I mean by that is we're only clipping out just this picture of the trees, but you could actually clip out a group of things as long as they're underneath. If you look in your layers window, the key here to doing this technique is to make sure you have the layers properly. I have my mask, or my letters that are black, over top of my picture. So as long as they're over top. And one thing I'm going to do is duplicate these letters, just for maybe I might need them later. Oops, that didn't work. There we go. I might need them later for another idea that I have. So I'm going to do the clipping mask. I'm going to select both the text and the picture, and I'm going to go underneath Object, Clipping Mask, and just say Make. You'll notice that the letters will show up inside. When you've tried this clipping mask, one of the things you can do is you can actually move it around. If you click off and then click on the letters, you should be able to move the letters, and the picture will stay the same. And as you're moving it around, you'll see that the picture, oh no, it's moving both. There is a way that I could do that. Maybe, is it the white selection tool? Well, I think that's moving now. Yeah. See how the letters are moving, but the picture in the background stays the same. Maybe it's because I was using the white selection tool. But that's a good technique of getting things inside of one object inside of the other object. The other thing is that I wanted to give it an outline, because when you do this technique, if you zoom in, you can see it gets kind of the texture of whatever's behind it gets really confusing, and it's hard to see the letters. So probably the easiest way to get the letters to really stand out is to apply a stroke around the letters, and that's why I kind of duplicated this. I wasn't sure if maybe the appearance window, one of the readings that I've placed in the website would be to read the page on the appearance window. And maybe if I apply a stroke here, add new stroke, Let me see if I make it bigger. Will that work? No, it's not working. Yeah, this doesn't work. It's because the clipping mask doesn't really matter. It's going to take whatever's in that object and make it transparent, or make it show through. So the cheating technique that I'm going to use in this case would be to stroke the original letters. Remember, I duplicated the letters. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to tell the inside to be transparent. Then I'm going to tell the outside to have a stroke. Ooh, I don't know about red. Oh, this opacity is not going to work, because that'll make everything opacity. The inside would just turn off. Oop. So go to the inside color and just turn it off. There we go. So I'm going to tell the inside color to be none, and the outside stroke color to be a color. And then I'll just line it up. In fact, maybe I'll make the stroke color a little bit different. No, green is something contrasty. How about purple? And then make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And then let's move it over top of my letters. There we go. So it makes it stand out a lot better. I don't know why I use purple, but as you can see here, by using the stroke, so I duplicated the letters before I did the clipping mask. Then I took that duplicate piece of text and I applied just a stroke, and then I put it over top. This now will make the texture at least stand out a little bit better around there, so you can actually read the letters. So that's one fun technique.